This week's episode is brought to you in part by MPix, delivering the highest quality prints and products from your photos. Shoot today, upload tonight, we ship tomorrow.
On this week's show, I've got a whole bunch of Lightroom adjustment brush tips for you.
And I have a tip to do edge effects using Puppet Warp.
And I'm going to talk about a little-known feature for managing color output.
And I've got a tip for adding contrast and making your lighting look even better. And it all starts right now.
Welcome to Photoshop User TV, brought to you by the National Association of Photoshop Professionals. And now, here are your hosts, the Photoshop guys.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another problematic episode of Photoshop User TV, brought to you by...
Oh. Corey hid the magazine from last time.
It's there.
Photoshop User Magazine, a professionally produced magazine. You think this show is super sharp? You should see the magazine. Wow.
It's a good magazine. The magazine is actually much better than we are.
Don't hold the show against the magazine. Welcome, everybody. We are very happy to be here again. Joining me, as always, two of the coolest guys who are completely unprepared that you would ever want to meet. To my left, representing an entire continent, which I just toured, in a glorious, glorious tour, drenched in poutine, Dave Cross.
Hey, everybody.
You know,
poutine.
You know what's bad about going through Canada with like people that know you? Every time we see a Tim Hortons, like, look, Dave would love that. It's Tim Hortons. Oh, I'm like, okay, I know. Dave likes Tim Hortons. Got it. All right. And a guy who has never been to Canada and will never ever.
Been to Canada. Yes, I have. They let me in once.
You have not.
They let me in one time.
Okay.
I have a shot of Banff to prove it.
Oh, he did go to Banff.
See? How's your shot of Banff? Did you have good weather that day? Or was it a little cloudy? Was it a little overcast? Poor Scott. So Scott, we have to.
No, don't say poor Scott after you just attacked me.
Scott had been wanting to go to Banff. I mean, it's
I feel
been,
like I'm on Google Plus.
It's been years. I mean, you've been talking about going to Banff for every bit of 5 or 6 years ever since I've known you, and so he got the opportunity to go when you were teaching up there, and it's a beautiful area. It just doesn't look so good when it's overcast. And I think it was overcast when you were there. You okay, man?
I'm looking for my Banff shots. They're not that bad.
No, you got some nice ones.
Oh, yeah, eat it. I was going to show them, but...
The damage
and Matt Kloskowski, my close personal friend, close buddy there.
Oh, how you doing?
Great.
Welcome back.
Later, Matt will be showing his raw images from his trip to Banff.
No, I won't. Because I had overcast skies, too.
And way back there, who's been quite nice to me, by the way, all day today, Corey Barker.
Did I show you my shots from Banff?
Eat it.
It was sunny when you were there, wasn't it?
It was kind of half and half. It was okay.
All right, so to people who live in Banff, is it ever like really sunny?
It was in the pictures that I saw at the camera store. We went to a really nice store in the town of Banff. Hold on, I accidentally like copying 1,200 files, 3,000 files. I went to there was like a store that sold photography.
Yeah.
And there was like everywhere you looked was a fabulous shot of Banff, and it makes it worse when it's raining outside and you're standing in the photo store and Brad and I are like, when does it look like that? It looks like that.
Can I get the digital version?
Yeah, it almost doesn't even look like the same place.
So you know what I told Brad? I said, you really want to freak out Matt? We'll take pictures of that guy's picture and email it to Brad, email it to Matt, and go, man, it's a beautiful day today. No, we didn't do that.
They did take a picture. I had a picture that I used a couple of times at one point of some canoes, and so Scott actually took a picture of Brad holding these canoes and kind of moving them out into the water.
In the same order that Matt had them, but it wasn't.
That was nice.
But there was literally a sign there that said bad weather, canoeing closed. That's how nice it was. But anyway, we're here now, blah, blah, blah. Who's got a tip?
Dave.
Dave, you've got one. You're still nice to me, right?
Oh, always.
There you go, see?
So I'm actually in the middle of recording my finishing touches class for LB training.
I'm sorry, was this taken in Banff?
That's actually, no, that's in, I don't know, it's a stock photo.
That's just outside Banff.
It's on the way to Banff.
I see blue sky. I don't think it could have.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, I'm in the middle of recording my new finishing touches class for Kelby training, and been playing around with variations on things I've done in the past, and discovered a couple of interesting little ideas. And you know me, I like to do things in a way that are very flexible and editable, so I can change my mind and apply it to
detect a smart object
Oh
coming
God,
up.
not a smart object, please, I'm begging you.
But wait till you see what this one does. It's quite amazing. So I'm just going to, I've cut a layer below, I'm going to add a selection, fill it, so I just have black. And yes, I'm going to make it a smart object, in this case strictly so I can make it a smart filter and apply it. So I'm going to make a clipping group between the two of them so that the top photo is clipped by this, and then we're going to do the marvelous filter displace. And the challenge with the displace filter has always been knowing what the heck do you type in for these numbers, because you don't really know until the end, and that's one of the benefits of doing it as a smart filter, is now you have the option of changing your mind. So if I could type, I will get, I'm going to actually use the same photograph as my displacement map, and you see it does this kind of nifty edge effect thing, which is kind of cool. But because it's a smart filter, I can go in and say, well, let's try different numbers just to see what it does, and pick the same one again. There it is. It's, by the way, it's just a regular PSD file. See, that's kind of a cool edge effect. But then I thought, well, wait a minute now. If I want to tweak it a little bit further.
Now, wait a minute.
Because I like talking to myself like that and saying, now, wait just a moment.
Hold on.
I say nay. That if I went in here and said puppet warp, I could puppet warp this object. And I thought, let's just try this. So just real quickly, just add some pins around the outside and kind of key spots like this, just to get myself started. And then I say, I want to see a bit more of this fence, so I just start kind of pulling on this shape. And because I'm not working on the photograph, I'm working on the shape down below, this means I can do all kinds of interesting pulling around, trying some different things, you know, kind of warping, whatever I want. But once again, because this is a smart object, it means not only is the displace filter a smart filter, so is the puppet warp. So at any time I could decide if I want that on or off, or go back, double click, and tweak it even further should I wish to do so. So it's just another way to give yourself more options to create nifty edge effects around the outside of your photograph.
Puppet warp is a filter.
It is. It's a smart filter.
Interesting. So it's under the edit menu.
It is under edit menu, but it's one of those things where it's kind of like shadow highlight, where it's under a different menu, but is treated as if it's a filter. So there you go.
Very interesting, Dave Cross.
Thank you.
Fascinating.
I have something I could share with you.
I would be happy if you did.
Can you?
Thank you.
Does it involve a man in a suit?
No.
Oh, okay.
So my tutorial is based on two things. Number one is a trick using unsharp mask to add contrast. The second one is a way to enhance the lighting. So we're going to add contrast using the unsharp mask filter. But the traditional settings you might use for the unsharp mask are, let's say, an amount, which is how much sharpening, might be 80, 100, something like that. But Dave, I'm going to only use 20%.
No.
What would be a
do it.
standard radius for the unsharp mask?
One or two.
1 or 2?
1.3.
I'm going to set it to 250.
What?
That's
crazy.
Just seems sacrilegious.
So watch.
And problematic.
But what this does is, rather than really sharpening because it's such a high radius, it adds a little bit of contrast and punch. So you would use this as a finishing effect, not a sharpening effect, but just kind of want to add a little punch. Filter, sharpen.
Hold on.
Unsharp mask.
It's got to be a smart object.
250. But do you see what it did to the image? Look at the difference. Watch. It kind of makes the highlights pop a little and the shadows, so it's almost like a little contrasty effect. It's got a, so that's just one of the tips. Just apply that. But you still have to sharpen the image because it's more of a highlight. So we have mid-tone contrast, right? This is more of a highlight contrast. Interesting, because that's one. So here's another shot. This is one for my tour. I thought the other one was too as well. So
That's me.
that is you.
Yeah.
That's Stone Cold Max.
It's like kind of a composite of both of us.
A composite?
My head.
A composite?
A composite.
I'm going to use the lasso tool. Lasso!
Well, just undo by pressing Command Z, and you'll be good.
Zed. I went through that
Polygonal.
in Canada.
Polygonal.
Okay, here we go.
That's Utah, Corey.
So here, I want to accentuate the positive. I want to accentuate the lighting, the high key lighting that I did, not the high key, the high contrast lighting. See how it's on his edges and arms and stuff like that? So we're going to do that by going to the channels palette. And I'm going to hold the Command key on Mac or the Control key on PC, and we're going to click right on that thumbnail right there. Command click. And it loads the highlights in the image. We're going to press Command J to put those up on their own separate layer, so you just have the highlights. And it looks like a genie.
Ghost.
Okay, now, you're going to change the blend mode from this from normal to screen. All right, now, you could just say, well, that looks pretty good right there. It adds the nice contrast, and you can, but what I want to do is I don't want to add contrast to the whole image, just to select areas. So I'm going to hold the Option key again, the Alt key on PC, actually not again, for the first time. Option on Mac, Alt on PC, click. Now I hide the version of him behind there. I haven't deleted it, it's still there. You just can't see it because I've put a black wall in front of it. If it's black, you paint in the opposite color, white. Get a brush, and then what I'm going to do is go in here and paint over his highlights right here to just bring those out, and right here on the side, and then, so just makes your lighting look all that much more crisp. And then if you want, you can paint down this highlight on his arm, like that. Make it just look that much more funkified.
I like it.
Yeah, it's nice. And look at the difference here. Watch just on just those areas. Makes the
That's
lighting.
cool because it does. It just kind of hones in on the highlights from the light, not all the other brighter
So
areas.
just a couple of quickie ones to add some little contrast and juice to your stuff.
Juice. All right, it is time for a break. I'm sure the break will be very quick, and we'll be back in 60 seconds, maybe.
Perhaps.
Possibly.
Hey, we're back. Scott Kelby here with Matt, Corey, and not RC.
Dave Cross.
I can see RC, but it's not RC. It's Dave Cross. Hi, RC.
He waved.
He waved. Okay. Hey, just want to mention, I mentioned that the shots were taken from my tour. My Light It, Shoot It, Retouch It tour is going to be in Denver next. It's in September sometime. Towards the end of September. Then I'm going straight to Portland. I do have a shoot, though, football shoot in between. But then I'm going straight to Portland, and then a couple days later to Los Angeles, or even the next day, perhaps, in Los Angeles. So it's kind of a little West Coast stop there, Denver, Portland, Los Angeles. Go to KelbyTrainingLive.com, and you can sign up there. It's $99, and if you sign up early, I think they give you a couple bucks off.
$79 for NAP members, right?
Yeah.
And it's been pretty much, Scott's not telling you this, but it's been pretty much selling out in just about every city that you're hitting. So
even in Europe, over 2 days, I had 750 people. So
yeah, so if you're thinking of going, get a ticket
Sign
quick
up now.
Should be fun.
Selling out.
Good
Denver,
times.
September 16th.
Oh, thank you. September
Portland,
16th.
September 19th.
September 16th in Denver, September 19th, and in LA is the 20th?
LA is the 20th, yep.
20th in LA. I hope to see you there.
Very good.
All righty.
Hey, Matt, you got a tip for us on Lightroom?
Yes, I have a tip for us on Lightroom. So I said at the beginning of the show, I got a whole bunch of adjustment brush tips. So the first tip for the adjustment brush in Lightroom is just hit the letter K, and you can get over to the adjustment brush.
Okay.
One
Get
of
it?
the
Get it?
I got it.
K.
One of
K
the
for
other ones here.
adjustment
So you're going to see that there's a whole bunch of presets inside of here. One of the things that I'll do a lot is I'll just hold down the Option key on Mac, Alt key on PC, and you'll see that changes to reset, and that'll reset all your sliders to 0. Another thing I'll do is if I have a slider that I've moved a little bit, instead of trying to get it right back to 0 or anything like that, just double click the slider.
Hey, dude, I got a tip.
Or double click the name and it goes back to 0. What's your tip?
Seriously, I got a good tip.
Okay.
Pick a color with the color thing. All right. Yeah, okay, there you go.
Okay.
Close it. How do you get that back to being none?
Right click, no, click on it, and drag it to 0.
Actually, that is how you do it technically. You go all the way down, not to 0, you have to go all the way in this corner.
Really?
Bottom left corner, right there is none. Right, but yesterday I learned a new way. Seriously,
What
kid
is
you
it?
not.
Tell me.
Pick a color.
Pick a color, any
You're
color.
gonna love this, you're gonna love
Okay,
this.
close it.
Right?
Yeah.
Double click on the word color.
Oh, dude.
Come on, toss it out. So
Blow it up.
I didn't come up with it. I'm in my tour yesterday, and a guy yells it out from the crowd. When I went back and did it the long way, he goes, Mr. Kelby, you double click on the color swatch, that'll do it too. I said, are you crapping me? And I tried it, and I called him up to the front of the stage, and I go, dude, that was worth 20 bucks. I gave him 20 bucks.
Dude, seriously? Well, I guess, yeah, all the double clicking all the other ones.
I even said that, you know, it actually makes sense because the way you just double clicked on the slider, but we don't double click on the name unless you click on, you know, if you double click effect, it resets them all.
That's a whole heck of a lot better than
holding
down the option key.
I'm hooking you up.
Why do they even make the option key?
Why do you have a Lightroom blog?
Holy crap! I mean,
I finally got it back.
That was good. Look at. So that really,
Hey, I don't know if you know this. I wrote a book on Lightroom. I didn't tell you. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, man. I'll have to check it out sometime. All right, back to our story at hand. You know, that just ate up all my time from my tips. No, back to that's very cool because I was always
Dude, don't play with it now. We got a show to do.
Another tip while the color picker is open is if you want to sample a color from the background, click in the color picker and then just start dragging out over the photo, and then you can sample a tint or a certain color from your photo right there. And then, if you wanted to maybe save a color, you can right-click on these little swatches up there, and you can set this swatch to that current color. So you can make your own swatches up here, and then, of course, you can always hit reset if you had changed them.
Swatches.
All right, a couple other things. So let's go on here, and let's paint a little bit. No, we never normally would do that. So we painted, and you're going to see that there's a little pin there. If you hit the letter H, all right, so watch, see the pin, hit the letter H, it hides it, hit the letter H, again, it shows it, and it's just a little shortcut to getting down here to the show pins where it says always or auto. So you can just hit H, or you can hit Shift H, and it toggles through some of the other options too.
Lovely.
And then show the mask overlay here, so you see this one, if I hover over, if this is turned off, if I hover over, I'll see the mask overlay, and I can press O, sorry, let's move that. I can press O to turn it on and off, or Shift O to change the color. So basically throw the Shift key into any one of these little keyboard combinations, and it usually does something different. And then the last thing here is a lot of people, I always think this one is kind of cool, is if I change a bunch of sliders and you move over the thing, see the little left and right arrows? If you drag it to the right, it moves all the sliders. But it kind of moves them proportionally and incrementally based on where they're at. It doesn't move everything by the same amount. So that is just a little sampling of a whole bunch of adjustment brush tips in Lightroom. If you want to find out more, get Scott's book. If you want to find out even more, I think I'm going to be doing a Lightroom tutorial on my blog with a new and improved color picker reset tip.
And he's going out on a tour. Your Lightroom tour is going back out on the road, right?
Yeah, keep an eye.
Cities,
keep an eye over at KelbyTrainingLive.com.
Very good.
Laddie?
Laddie, and that laddie. The Photoshop laddie's got a tip for us today.
Just a little one.
A wee tip.
It's a wee
from
tip.
the laddie.
It is. It's actually a question I gotten from a few people on Planet, and actually our own Larry Becker came to me with this question.
On the Planet?
Wondering what the gamut warning is. If you go under the View menu and you see this item is called gamut warning, and a lot of people say, I don't know what that is, I'm never going to use it. And a lot of people don't. But in case you do, you're doing output for color. There's a certain range of colors certain printers are able to reproduce versus what's on your screen. And we all know you can get a wider range of colors on your monitor than you can on a print. But depending on what color space you're working in, if you go under there to the View menu and choose Gamut Warning, it's going to put a color overlay, in this case the default is gray, over the colored areas that are going to be outside the range that are reproducible in this color profile. And you can see right now in this particular image that there's a lot of areas that are going to be shifted if this was to go out to print. And I am in RGB mode, and if I go in here to the Edit menu, down to Color Settings, not Assign Profile, but Color Settings, and you can see on the working spaces, I've got it in Adobe RGB, but if I go and change the CMYK output to something different, you can see the area changes, how much can be reproduced. It depends on the color profile you've got your document set up for, but it immediately gives you feedback as to what is going to be outside that reproducible range. Now, if you want to change the color of it, of course, you can go into the Preferences, under Photoshop, go to Preferences to Transparency and Gamut, and you can simply click on here and change. If the gamut warning overlay is hard to see on a particular image, you can just simply go in here and change the color and the opacity if you like, and then you can see the warning in a different color, and you get that warning in there. So that's really what it is. Again, is it a feature a lot of people use? Not necessarily, but that is what it's for, just in case you were wondering, for those of you out there that wanted to know. And that is the function of it. So, Gamut warning.
Gamut
Thank you, Mr.
warning.
Barker.
Thank you.
Gamut. Gamut, man. Sorry.
Wow.
All right, hey, we're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, more bad jokes, a contest, and a prize. See you in a minute.
Mama always said, you gotta preserve the present for those in the future. I think that's what my Romance and Landscape series was all about. I shot for 6 days, 12 hours, and 34 minutes straight. I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
Hey, it's contest time.
Yay.
And our international host,
Alex Trebek. No.
international host, Alex Trebek.
Dave?
It's contest time, and Matt will demonstrate the prize that you can win
See, I'm prepared this time.
from Nick. What is it, Matt?
Nick's Software Sharpener Pro 3.0. So
Nice.
sharpening software plugin for Photoshop, Lightroom, Aperture, and all those other great programs.
Microsoft Word.
And Microsoft.
So if you don't know by now, in order to win this, it's not really a contest as much as it is as a random draw. So you go to the Kelby TV website where you'll see a place to add comments. Add a comment like, gosh, I love you guys, I should win the prize, or some other complimentary thing.
You can stop right at just, gosh, I love you guys.
Or just, hi.
Yeah.
Whatever you
Doesn't
want.
actually have to say anything.
Add a comment. Someone will
right.
randomly draw a name, and someone will win Sharpener Pro from Nick Software.
From Nick
I fear the time is here.
Time is here. Well, guys, this has been
it's time to
such a
say
great
goodbye.
time with you guys.
It is.
You too, Corey.
Thank you. Thank you.
He can't reach out to you, but virtually.
Because I feel so much better about Matt since
But
I
I
knew
feel
that
the
tip he
love.
didn't know. That I'm counting him in, again, as one of my friends. Hey, I just want to mention, if you get a chance, I've been doing a lot of stuff over on Google+. So if you go to type in Google+, Scott Kelby, you will find my Google Plus page. So go over there. I did an HDR tutorial called Down and Dirty HDR, where I showed just a quick way to process HDR images using just Photomatics and a couple other things. And I post all kinds of crazy stuff there. In fact, I gave away 5 copies of, well, now I've given away 10 copies of Matt's, signed copies of Matt's compositing book. One of the reasons why I gave away 5 the other day was his book is sold out on Amazon.com. Don't think it'll be in stock again for weeks.
It says 1 to 3 weeks, so.
1 to 3 weeks, so, you know, keep an eye on my Google Plus account. There's a reasonable chance that before Matt's book gets in stock, I'll give away a few more.
It's kind of cool. As an author, you're like, oh, wow, it says only 5 left. And so, like, you tweet out, you're like, hey, everybody, there's only 5 copies left. And as an author, you're thinking, oh, wow, it's cool, it's sold out. It's not so cool when you get back on there and you
your
see
books
that your
aren't
books,
selling.
because that means nobody's buying it. So.
It means a bunch of people bought the heck out of it, and then now nobody can buy it.
Anyway.
But anyway, you can go to KelbyTraining.
You can get it on
and still
KelbyTraining.
get some. All
I'm
right.
doing.
Barnes & Noble has, well, they had some yesterday. I don't know if they have them today.
Anyway, I'm signing all the copies if you order from KelbyTraining. I got some stuff on Google Plus too, so you can search my impossible to spell last name. And Dave Cross as
It's
well.
KOOSSKII ski.com.
MISSPPI.
And Dave, and where can people find about your love?
Well, I'm on
You're
Google
on Google
Plus
Plus,
now,
yeah, you are.
and you know, Facebook and all that, Twitter stuff. You know, all that
Find out
stuff.
about your love.
Find out about your love. Well, thanks very much, everybody. Thank you, Corey.
Thank you.
Thanks for not doing some 3D.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Matt?
Gamut.
Gamut, man.
Gamut, man.
Matt?
Take care, everybody.
There you go. Davey?
Bye now.
Your wife calls you Davey, doesn't she?
She does.
It's okay if I call you Davey?
It's a little creepy, but sure.
Okay.
I like calling you Maddie.
Is it okay if RC calls you Davey?
Scotty.
All right. Hey, everybody, we'll see you next week right here on Photoshop User TV. Take care.